Thanks for coming today to our special Instagram New York City event. I'm very excited to be here with all of you guys. Thank you, by the way, for making it out. I know there was the snowstorm this week, and us being from California, we're not exactly used to that. We're lucky to have gotten here safely. So we're at a point in the year where we like to look back and be reflective on what's happened in the previous year. Some tremendous stuff has happened. We've grown quite a bit. We started the year around 80 million users, and now we're well over 150 million people using Instagram worldwide. We launched web profiles, which allow you to share your life on the web. We also launched people tagging, which allows you to tell rich stories through a people layer on top of your photos. And finally, one of the largest launches we did of the year, Instagram Video, which allows you to post videos of your friends, family, and in my case, cute puppies. So we need to look forward now. We're at the end of the year. What's coming in the coming year? And that's what we're here to talk about today. But in order to do that, I want to tell you guys a story. This is a story about my co-founder, Mike, and myself in Dogpatch Labs, a small little pier in San Francisco without air conditioning or heating, working on a project called Instagram. And if you looked on our website at the time we started, it said, a new way to communicate and share in the real world. And why is that interesting? That's interesting because what a lot of people associate with us is beautiful photography. And a new way to communicate and share in the real world doesn't exactly strike a chord with beautiful photography. They seem a little disparate. But what I want to do today is talk about how they're not so different, and in fact, how they're very close. So for us, communication is actually really core. It's not about photography necessarily. And why is that? Well, if we were about photography, we'd be built into cameras. But we're not built into cameras. We're built into phones. And phones are communication devices. Phones always have been. Ever since someone put a microphone in a device and let you transmit your voice overseas to your neighbor, to a friend, to a loved one, it became a communication device. And then somewhere along the way, we decided to add keyboards to our phones, which let us text, email, send our friends notes, and a whole entire world around texting and text social networks took rise. And where are we now? A curious thing happened. Our phones got cameras. Or in some ways, our cameras got phones. And it started an entire revolution, a visual communication revolution that allows us to take images and send them around the world. So if we're in the middle of this revolution, what kind of stats are we seeing? Well, in the year 2000, we started off with 86 billion photos taken in that year. You might think that's a lot of photos. But actually, I would say that it's not nearly as many photos as in 2011 with 360 billion photos taken. So why is that? 3 reasons. 1, the transition to digital. As fewer and fewer analog cameras are on the market and more digital, we can take as many photos as we want with no limit. The second is, now we have cameras in our pocket, always. You walk anywhere and you can take a photo. That's unprecedented. Before, you had to remember to take the camera out. People are taking way more photos now than they ever have in the past. And the third effect, which is a little more unique and a little more nuanced, is the rise of the ability to share these photos. Social networks, like Instagram, like Facebook. You take a photo and you can share it with the world instantly. So now you have a reason to take a photo. It's a way of communicating. So let's set some context here of the opportunity. 4 billion feature phones in the world. Very unlike all the phones that you guys have in this room, feature phones barely run apps, and their cameras are nowhere near as nice as smartphones. So what's the opportunity if today there are only 1 billion smartphones? If there are 1 billion smartphones and 4 billion feature phones, you've got to imagine over time people shift to smartphones, and we'll see an even more meteoric rise in how many photos are taken in the world. And that's all about communication. It's all about sending those photos to other people, because photos alone are just art. Photos, when transmitted, become communication. So let's talk about how we're seeing that revolution happen around the world today. The fact of the matter is that certain images can only be communicated through an image. You can't show scenes like this of Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines. Jethro Mullen actually took this photo of the damage in Tacloban. You can't show scenes like this through words. You need an image. So it's good that this revolution is happening, because we can actually transmit to the world what we're seeing. Journalists are doing this all over the world every single day using Instagram, and that's really special to us. We also have people in far-off places taking images that you wouldn't see otherwise. So David Gutenfelder in North Korea is taking images behind the scenes where Westerners wouldn't see otherwise and posting them on Instagram. And that's special to us, not because the image itself is special, yes, it's special, but the ability to transmit this image is extremely special. We also have seen how communication and visual communication has inspired people. Recently, with Bat Kid, 5-year-old Miles, a cancer survivor, decided that he wanted to fight crime alongside Batman. And thousands of people came to the streets of San Francisco to root him on because they discovered it through social media. In some ways, Instagram, Twitter, social media in general allows for people to discover events happening around the world. This photo alone would be beautiful, but this photo transmitted inspires thousands. Now, not all photos have to be super meaningful. They can be about brunch. But bear with me here. I don't think this is just brunch. I think it's a visual status message. It's a status message in pixels. It's about telling your friends where you are, who you're with, and yes, of course, what you're eating. And I think that's OK. And in fact, I think that's revolutionary. It's also a check-in at a local eatery. I think an image's ability to communicate to the world is unparalleled. You also have my ability to share videos of my puppy, Dolly, who continues to demonstrate her intelligence. I have to tell you, getting a puppy has been one of the best parts of life. And using it with Instagram is, I'm sure if you follow me, you can unfollow me if I post too much of Dolly. So with such a wide range of uses and so many users using the service, what does that mean in terms of activity? Well, I'm going to tell you today, more than half of our users use Instagram daily. This is about a super addictive platform that lets you communicate every single day, just like you text every day, just like you make phone calls every day. Instagram is becoming a platform for connecting with other people that's indispensable. So I've talked a lot about the background of Instagram now. I think we should probably talk about what we've built. So to set this up, let's talk about a person on Instagram. Let's talk about their needs and what they want to get out of it. So over the last few years, if you're on Instagram, you've built up this really wonderful network of people who follow you. Some of them are your friends, some of them are your family, and some of them might even be people you've met through Instagram. And by the way, that's really inspiring, because there are these communities that have been created around Instagram. But you know, sometimes you want to be able to share not with everyone, but just with a specific group. So what's an example? Let's say you're at a concert, your favorite band goes on, and they're performing your favorite song, and you want to take a video and just send it with your friends who happen to love that band. You can't really do that on Instagram today. Nor, if you cook a beautiful meal and you want to share it with just your foodie friends, can you actually share it just with your foodie friends? You have to share it with everyone. But let's imagine you're walking in New York, thousands of miles away from where you live, and you see something that reminds you of that special person, and you want to send it just to them. The truth of the matter is, Instagram does not actually work this way today. And that's why we stepped back and we said, what would we build if we want to enable this use case? What would we build if we want to allow you to send to anyone you want, whenever you want? So today I'd like to introduce Instagram Direct, a simple way to send photos and videos to your friends. I'm really excited about this. I'm excited about it mostly because we've been using it internally, and we're all very addicted to it. So I'm sure you guys want to see what this is, so I'm going to go to the phone for a demo. So let's go to the phone. So here you see Instagram as it is today. This is my feed. Let's imagine we're in a situation where I want to send, you saw my photo or my video of Dolly before. Let's imagine I want to send a photo of Dolly to my girlfriend, Nicole. How would I do this using Instagram? Well, the first instinct would be, let's tap on the camera button. So let's go to the camera, and we see we have a beautiful photo of Dolly. But let's scroll down through the, by the way, many photos I take of Dolly, to this one. I think this is a great photo. One of the things you'll notice, by the way, if you're into iOS, is that we've redesigned the camera UI to fit within iOS 7, just like the rest of our app. So I'm going to go ahead and select my favorite filter, Mayfair, which makes Dolly look pretty great. I'm going to tap Next and see a really familiar screen. So this is the follower screen. You can type your caption, you can tag people, you can add to your photo map, or share with any of your favorite social networks, just like you could before. But in this case, I want to share directly with Nicole. So I'm going to go ahead and tap over to Direct on the right-hand side. And by the way, I can always tap right back to followers if I want to. But in this case, let's share with Nicole. So I come in here and I say, what message do I want to send to Nicole? She's wondering if you'll bring home some treats, as she often does. And I could decide down here who I want to share it with. So let's tap on Nicole and add her to the recipients list. And by the way, if I want to, I can add up to 15 other people, or I'm sorry, up to 15 total. So my co-founder, Mike, and my friend, David. But let's actually just send to Nicole this time. So I'm going to scroll down. When I'm done, I tap the Send to One button at the bottom. I'm going to tap this. And I'm not going to rate Instagram, although I love it. I think that would take up some time. So here I've sent a photo, and let's actually see what I sent. So if I tap in, you see that it's from me. You see my profile photo to Nicole's profile photo. And you might be wondering, why is Nicole's profile photo actually faded out? And that's because what we wanted to do when you're communicating with someone is not make it be asynchronous. Let's let you know when the person has seen your photo. So when Nicole opens this photo, you actually see that her profile photo fades in and you get a check mark. So if I have sent to 15 people, whenever any of those people view, I get a little check mark next to their profile photo to know who's seen it and who hasn't. This is really important for communication because it's a two-way street. Also, if Nicole decides to like the photo, her check mark turns from a check mark to a heart. And below, you see that there's actually room for conversation. So you take a moment in the world, you take a photo or a video, and you create a space for conversation. So here she's asking me, what flavor? And I'll say, I think she likes chicken. Good. There we go. So now Nicole gets that as a push notification. She says thumbs up back. Now Dolly's going to get some treats. This is a great example of being able to connect with people around photos, have a conversation that's meaningful, and be able to create value in the world. So I'm going to swipe back to show you the inbox. This is where all my moments live. I can revisit them at any time if I want to, start a new conversation on old moments, and swipe back into the feed. You can swipe back or tap back. One of the things that was really important for us about this feature was easy access. So of course, as I scroll through my feed, I can view Instagram as always. But the second I scroll up, the bar appears, and I can tap into the inbox. So here I'll go in my inbox again. Now, let's say I'm using Instagram, and I'm watching my feed, and someone decides to send me a photo. What will happen is, in the top right, a little badge appears, and it says number 1. So I'm going to tap in, and I'm going to see, oh, it looks like Sammy sent me a photo. So Sammy is the product manager on Instagram Direct. I'll tap in, I see the photo, and this is the Android team about to press the button to launch the app stores. And you see, as people start to view it below, check marks happen, people comment. You can see who's commented, who's liked it, and join the conversation. So I'll say, good luck, guys. It's a really fun way to bring people together around photos and videos, just like you would at home. You'd take out the old shoebox, you'd sit around a table, and you'd show people photos of your vacation. But now this happens in real time. Small groups, individuals, all around photos and videos. So let's scroll back here. There's one important question you probably all have on your mind, which is, if Instagram's added this ability to send photos and videos to anyone, does that mean my inbox is going to be overflowing with people? I mean, after all, there are 150 million people plus that use Instagram every single month. Now, we've made a really simple distinction because we've looked around and we've said there are a bunch of different models for this. But all of them are a little complicated or not quite right. So on Instagram, what's going to happen is the only people that can send photos and videos to you are people that you follow. People that you follow can send you photos and videos. But there's a catch. If you don't follow those people, and this is important, that doesn't mean you can't receive photos and videos from them. It just means they go into your pending requests. So there's none of this back and forth, hey, follow me, and I'll follow you, and then now we can chat. That's too complicated and adds too much friction. So we've added pending requests. So if someone wants to be able to send to you and you don't follow them, you'll see a pending request show up down here at the bottom. I'm going to tap in, and you can see that John and Jim have sent me either a photo or a video. Let's say that I don't know John, and I want to ignore it. I tap the X and say ignore, and now I don't have to worry about this again. He won't contact me, it won't show up in my inbox or my pending requests. But Jim I do know, and I just happen to not follow him because, I don't know, maybe I don't know he's on Instagram, or maybe he posts too many photos of his dog. So I'm going to go ahead and say check, and yes, I accept, and now his photos and videos from now on will show up in my inbox. And of course, you can undo this at any time if you want to. But I tap in, and I see a really beautiful photo of San Francisco and a dog on a street. Again, Jim and dogs. So I'm going to go back to my inbox, scroll through. I can revisit at any moment, and easy access from my feed. So that's Instagram Direct in a nutshell. So let's recap. What we have today: control your inbox with requests. The only people who can send to you are people you follow. Easy access from your feed. Simply tap the inbox, and you'll be able to get to moments. Send to a group of up to 15 people at once. This can be for small groups. It can be for classes. It can be for your college buddies, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife. And what's really important to Instagram is that you get to revisit these moments. If you want to be able to have a conversation around them, if you want to be able to talk with people, you need to be able to get back to them. And for us, real-time likes, views, and chat brings this feature alive. It's like you're gathering people around a photo, a moment, and being able to have a conversation with them. So as we often like to do in these situations, we love producing videos about our feature. Because we can talk about it, we can show you a demo, but what's really special and what's really important is giving you a feel for how we think about the feature. So let's roll the video. So that's Instagram Direct. We're super excited to be able to send this out to the world. It'll be available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store today for everyone to use. And we believe as we enter into the holidays, it's a perfect time to be able to share with a small group or someone you love. And we hope Instagram Direct will be able to do that for you. So thanks for listening today.